Welcome back to Cadwell Park. Well, if you're a tennis fan, remember there's a Grand Slam on. It's the US Open. It's at Flushing Meadow, and it starts today at 4 o'clock. That's live on British Eurosport. Right, the bikes are on the grid. We're just a few moments away from the start of the Rapid Solicitors Ducati848 trophy. So let's go trackside then with our commentators for this one. It is James Whittam, and he sits alongside Larry Carter.
Well, the Ducati848 Challenge set to go yet again at Cadwell Park. Kenny Gilbertson there, he took victory in the earlier race. Alongside him, the veteran Mike Edwards. Nice to see he's got Pete Jennings, former British Championship rider, as his brolly. You can't call him a brolly dolly, can you, James?
Well, he's not as good looking as most of the brolly dollies we get here, but he's certainly spent a lot of time with Mike. Yeah, they've actually raced together quite a lot. Pete Jennings, a former top super sport British Championship runner, so they know each other fairly well.
Championship leader, that's Leon Morris. He's going to take a lot of stopping yet again. His Ducati is Leon Morris. He pointed to the title sponsor's bill base on that one, and he's proved to be the class of the actors. Well, you're a bit of a pilot there, Whittam. Do you want to talk us through this aerobatic display?
It's a Spitfire, and I think he's lost because he's been over here quite a few times today already.
Things people do to try and watch the action at Cadwell Park without having to pay to get in, eh?
Yeah, I've got to say, you can tell, you know, these things get used quite a lot. They're on displays most and fly past most weekends in the summer. And I've been to see the team of people who keep these things going at Coningsby. It's a British, the Battle of Britain Memorial flight. We've got lots and lots of lovely old aircraft, and just to hear that thing, that V12 Merlin engine, 27 litres supercharged engine, mega.
Does it run unleaded these days? Probably does.
No, it doesn't have gas. It's full of lead, is that, and it's. I'm glad it is. You couldn't run that kind of engine on unleaded fuel, I don't think.
Have it on unofficial authority that the crowd here today is in excess of 50,000 people. 50,000 people at Cadwell Park.
Yeah, you know why? People love Cadwell. We all love Cadwell.
It's a party weekend, isn't it, here at Cadwell Park? The campsites, they were booked up months in advance, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Have you been on the Dodgems?
Not yet, but I checked out the live band. I thought the poor boys might be playing there last night, but not the case. Well,
they couldn't afford us, Barry. That's a problem there.
That doesn't surprise me at all, James. Well, the Ducati848 Challenge, it's proved to be a cracking addition to the series.
Yeah.
It doesn't run at all British Superbike Championship round, just selected rounds. We had a couple of foreign rounds as well this year.
That's it. I was just going to say, but they do go to some really special kind of circuits. They've been to Monza, my favourite circuit in the world. I would have loved to have had a ride round there on one of these.
Well, your mate Whittam, your mate to Hayden managed to blag a ride round there. They went to Aston as well.
He didn't do bad either.
I'll tell you what we'll do, James. Castle Coombs on the menu, so we'll see if we can get you a ride there. As I go off onto the warm-up lap then for the second of the races, race 12 of the series. It is here at Cadwell Park, just 2 rounds after this, 2 at Castle Coombs in a couple of weeks' time. In fact, it's next week, and then we go on to Silverstone a couple of weeks after that. Yeah,
really interesting. Let's get through I think we're about to put the grid up. Let's get through the grid there, Lazar. There you go.
2 clouds just started to roll into Cadwell Park. Hopefully it's not going to deposit too much rain. So race 2 here at Cadwell. King Kenny Gilbertson it is on that pole position under number 32, alongside of the veteran part-time gritter driver over winter, and that's Mike Edwards, number 121. And then championship leader, number 2, the Hampshire rider, Leon Morris. Row 2 sees the Stoke rider Robbie Brown ahead of last year's champion Darren Fry, who took a tumble yesterday, and then the number 51 of Jamie Poole. Aaron Brown, Scotty Cheetham and the Blackpool rider Ross Connolly round out row number 3 of the grid. Ricky Holden, Steve Jordan and Barry Paul, that is your top 4 grids here at Cadwell Park.
And I was just about to say, before the grid came up, that yesterday's race was really good. It was a good race. It was late on, the sun was dipping a bit low, but conditions were good. Mike Edwards, he continues to amaze. What is he? He's like an inspiration to all 50-plus people. I don't know quite how old he is. He's got to be somewhere near 50, because he's older than me, I know that.
Yeah, I think he's around about 49 years of age, and referred to the fact that he's had a number of jobs, a part-time track instructor and what have you, but currently at present he makes his home in our neck of the woods of Harrogate in North Yorkshire, whereby over the winter months he makes his living by driving the old the grit wagons and the salt wagons, the salt spreaders. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yet to win a race in this series is Spike Edwards.
I was just going to say, he nearly won yesterday. He actually closed Kenny Gilbertson down last few laps and nearly had a little bit of a go. I think we could see Mike Edwards having a little bit of a go at this.
Well, there's nobody got any more racing miles around Cadwell Park than Mike Edwards in his 29th consecutive season of British Championship racing.
That's just wrong.
There's no need for it, is there?
Get another hobby, go fishing.
Whether or not he can get the better of Kenny Gilbertson. Kenny has taken 3 victories this season, but it is Liam Morris on the outside of row number 1 that leads the championship as they come under starters' orders. And away we go, and it's Liam Morris. The power to weight ratio should favour the number 2 rider from Stocksbridge in Hampshire. And it looked like Dazzler Fry got a great start from the second row of the grid. The number 1 machine slots there into 3rd position just behind Spike Edwards. Kenny Gilbertson didn't get a great start from pole position. 10 laps is the journey this time around as they head out of Charlie's and onto the Park Straight, and it is Liam Morris, but already hooked up behind him, Spike Edwards. Yeah, and one of the problems for Kenny Gilbertson is he's quite a big lad, and he's not fat or anything, he's just a big chunky lad, and getting that bike off the grid is a bigger problem for him than most. Well, it's one for the aged juvenile because Spike Edwards slots into the lead. He just drifts by Liam Morris on the brakes in towards Park Corner. Darren Fry is well placed in 3rd position. Robbie Brown in that 4th position. Then it's the silver bike of Kenny Gilbertson. Liam Morris through the left and the right of the gooseneck, but Darren Fry is in 3rd position. This is a better start by Darren Fry. In towards Mansfield, around the track does Kenny Gilbertson. Well, this says might as well pay to use the curb as well. Well, he certainly did that, but Spike Edwards 121 in towards the mountain bottom. That is championship leader Darren Fry. Darren Fry, last year's championship winner, in 3rd position. That is Liam Morris in 2nd as they go across the mountain. Robbie Brown, keep around him, number 34. He's in 4th position, but this is the start that Spike Edwards wanted.
Keep your eye on number 32, man in 5th. That is Kenny Gilbertson. He's yesterday's winner. He's very, very aggressive, and he's looking for a way past. He doesn't want to get stuck behind the riders in front, while somebody like Mike Edwards or Liam Morris gets away.
Well, that is Jamie Poole in that 6th position under number 51, but number 121, Mike Edwards it is. He's got a 1/4 of a second advantage over Liam Morris in that 2nd position. Darren Fry. This is better from Darren Fry. He's played catch-up all season long. At the opening round of Brands Hatch, he had a massive off, and they, just to say, got that machine sorted out by the course of the weekend. Runs 5th in the championship currently, does Darren Fry. That battle for the podium slot now as Liam Morris now starts to have desires on that lead, but Spike Edwards, he's not taking this lying down. He looks on the inside at Park Corner, but Morris just lays it across him. Well,
yeah, actually that was a little bit too hard there, was Mike Edwards, because duking it out there with Liam Morris actually cost him time. He should have slotted in behind him, but actually trying to duke it out cost him a little bit of time there, I think.
Now he should hook up onto the back of this. Kenny Gilbertson has a look on the inside of Robbie Brown. Can't make it stick on this.
He's going to do though. He's definitely going to have a go, you know that.
And Jamie Poole just hanging onto the back of the leading quintet, just number 51. But Morris, he knows he's in a race this time around.
He does, so does Kenny Gilbertson. He didn't get it all his own way yesterday, but really wasn't troubled too much. Another few laps he would have been by Mike Edwards, the man in 2nd there. But certainly Kenny's stuck and feeling frustrated now, stuck behind Robbie Brown.
Pretty obvious what Morris's tactics are here. Get to the front and try and gap the field, because whilst he's in front, the rest of them are tripping over each other. It's not going to happen because Spike Edwards is going with him.
He's not, I mean, yeah, a little bit of an obvious one that, laddie, because, you know, the idea is to get to the front and win.
Get to the front and win like hell. That's what we used to say, James, wasn't it? As Liam Morris goes through the left-hander of Coppice Corner, still over 100 miles an hour on these 848 Ducatis. And Kenny Gilbertson now onto lap 3 of the 10-lapper. He's going to have to start thinking about making some inroads into the 3 or 4 riders in front of him. He's got a good drive here, as Kenny Gilbertson. He's going to hook up to the slipstream of the rider in front of him, Robbie Brown, and can he take him? It's going to be a brave move on the brakes. If anything, Robbie Brown's up to 3rd position.
Yeah, the problem is there, as you know, laddie, that you're actually trying to brake a little bit cranked over to the left, and especially if you're going round a rider to try and get the inside into Park Corner. Oh, he's through. Brave move from Kenny Gilbertson there. That'll work, that'll definitely work.
Block pass, and Darren Fry has gone from 3rd to 5th in 2 corners. Well, the leading quartet now, Kenny Gilbertson, so late on the brakes in towards Mansfield Corner, the decreasing left-hander.
Well, I tell you, I wouldn't be panicking as much as he was earlier if I was Kenny Gilbertson, that man there, number 32, red and black leathers, because it would appear now that nobody's going to pull away and gap anybody. The riders are all still sat there, and I would be settling down if I were him, although he doesn't settle down that easy.
Well, if anything, Darren Fry is just starting to tail off a little bit on the rear of this leading 5-bike quintet at the front, but Leon Morris, number 2, championship leader. Spike Edwards looking for that first victory of the season, as indeed is Robbie Brown, a former Virgin Cup runner is Robbie Brown. He was out of the sport for a couple of years. He ran in the British Supersport Championship, but a lack of finance over a couple of years. This is his comeback year. Leon Morris, of course, we saw him in British Superbikes last year. He did a couple of rounds there. And Spike Edwards, a former Northwest 200 winner, former Macau Grand Prix winner. He ran on the Rock 500 Yamaha, I seem to recall, going back into the 1990s. Kenny Gilbertson now starting to have a look around the outside of Robbie Brown. He's got the drive, James.
He has, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to get out of Charlie's and get the drive onto the straight, use a little bit of slipstream and put himself in a position here, which he doesn't look like he is.
Robbie Brown on the brakes, he's sideways. Spike Edwards just manages to hold on to that second position. They have now detached themselves from Darren Fry in that 5th place, so this is a battle for the 3 steps of the podium. Very lively is that 32 machine of Kenny Gilbertson.
Yeah, and I tell you what, these things, I've ridden these things quite a lot, you know, and the stock bikes stop really well. Brembo brakes, they're quite a long bike, and they are really, really stable under braking. You can really nail them.
Kenny Gilbertson, the 23-year-old from Bishop Stortford now. He's been around a bit.
Is that all he is?
From Swindon. Yeah, I think he's probably 3 to 2. He's probably got it the wrong way round. That's what it is. It's like you tell everybody you're 34, but it's actually 43 because you forget the wrong way.
I'm going to blame you for that, because he's a big lad. I don't want him coming to seek you beat.
King Kenny Gilbertson, born in Scotland, made his home in Wiltshire for a number of years, but now living in Bishop Stortford. That's the stock sprint rider Leon Morris, but this is so close. And Spike Edwards, he knows his way around Cadwell Park. He just missed out on the Harley Davidson Championship here at Cadwell Park 12 months ago. A little bit of unfinished business, but the power to weight ratio of that number 2 machine, this is
it's got to be better. Yeah, these things, about 130 brake horsepower out of these bikes, which sounds a lot, and the power to weight ratio compared to a car is immense, but compared to Kenny Gilbertson getting frustrated, he's going around the outside of Charlie's, and I haven't seen that done for a long time. In fact, I've never seen it done successfully.
No way round. But if anything, and don't mean to be derogatory to Kenny Gilbertson's bike, but he just seems to lose out on the horses. Now, is this outright power? Is it the gearing that's a little bit different?
Here comes
Edwards into the lead.
Inside, yeah.
Edwards takes the lead. Well, one up for the old boys there. The 49 years young Spike Edwards hits the front ahead of the number 2, and that is the Leon Morris in that second position, the 24-year-old engineer from Hampshire.
Yeah, I tell you what, you'll be pleased. In the pit lane there, he's Alan Walker. He's Mike Edwards' sponsor, lad from Huddersfield, runs a shop fitting business, a successful one, really good lad, races a little bit himself, but has decided this year to buy the bike for Mike Edwards.
Well, Edwards at half race distance has decided that it's about time that he made a break for the front as he goes through the cambered left-hander and through the right and up the 1 in 3 gradient of the mountain, leaps across the top in front of the mass ranks here, 50,000 people, we remind you, at Cadwell Park, and it's Spike Edwards that leads ahead of Liam Morris, and he is now coming under intense scrutiny from Robbie Brown. Kenny Gilbertson has a look on the inside.
This is the thing, Kenny Gilbertson, he's going to get really, really frustrated, because I said nobody was getting away when Leon Morris was at the front, but now that Edwards is at the front, he is pulling away, and that will frustrate Kenny Gilbertson. He will want to get past and have a go at Mike Edwards.
Keep an eye on the lap times that time around, and Edwards was half a second quicker than Morris, but Morris has negated the gap, if anything, because he's going with Edwards, and Brown is there in 3rd position, Gilbertson in 4th, and coming back at them again is Dazzler Fry. Darren Fry is not out of this one yet, because he's got his second win. Lap 6 out of lap 10 as they head on towards the Park Straight. It's too close to call this one, James.
I feel a little bit sorry for Kenny Gilbertson, because he hasn't got the speed on the straight to put himself in anywhere near a position to get past on the brakes. He's having to work really hard, is Kenny.
Well, that was perhaps a dress rehearsal, perhaps a lap or 2 too soon for Leon Morris, but it seems as though he's got the pace out of Charlie's Corner down the Park Straight. Here's Gilbertson again. It's the wide tack around the gooseneck, no way around there. Is he going to line himself up for a line on the inside in towards Mansfield? He's having a look on this time. Can he make it stick?
No.
Oh, well, Robbie Brown asking no quarter and certainly giving none. But again, all the time, this is just allowing that Morris and Edwards in front of them just to build a little bit of an advantage, a tiny advantage. And Darren Fry is coming back at them, the number one machine, the defending champion. He's not going to win the championship this time around, but Darren Fry at the back of your screen there, the number one machine, he is on the back of the leading quartet.
Yeah, and what Kenny Gilbertson doesn't want is for himself to be kind of lining up at pass, trying to make it through the pack. And then Darren Fry has a go at him and hold him up even more. This isn't over yet. That man there, I tell you what, Gilbertson is going to try and make a pass now, because you do get very frustrated. He's seen the people in front of him who he raced with and beat yesterday just pulling away. He will want to get with them.
Frustrating because he just blew the start, did Kenny Gilbertson. He gave himself such an uphill task to try and do that. But I'm impressed with that built-based machine there of Darren Fry, because he's come back at them that time around. Nothing really to choose between the top four, all within a tenth of a second of each other, and this has got to be Gilbertson's chance. But once again, Robbie Brown just stretching the elastic. Here comes Leon Morris on the inside. Well, I just think that he's just weighing the options up there in towards Park Corner.
Gilbertson, I don't think so.
Leon Morris. Spike Edwards. Edwards is making all the hard work at the front. That Mike Elwood, Mick Grant-esque riding style of Mike Edwards. No airs and graces about it, as he's almost stuck to the middle of the bike. Certainly not a Ben Wilson, isn't Spike Edwards.
No, he's very economical, is his riding style.
Unlike you, James, unlike you, with the body English lean, I think. And there we go, Robbie Brown on the inside. Oh, it was a little bit of a lunge. And that in itself will frustrate Gilbertson, because that has held him up a little bit. And Darren Fry's getting a grandstand view of this one as they go through the mountain section again and across the lead. And Kenny Gilbertson still struggling in that fourth position. Yesterday's race winner cannot do anything about the three in front of him at this particular juncture.
He can't, time's running out as well. He needs to start making his way through if he's going to do anything about the man he was battling with yesterday, Mike Edwards, who's just putting a good race together. Like you say, economical riding style, not making any mistakes, letting the other riders beat themselves up.
3/4 race distance, and this is a good lap from Edwards. He's gone a tenth of a second quicker, but that time around it's Robbie Brown that's the fastest man on track. The number 34 machine is there in that third position. There he is in view, and he is just trading tenths of a second out there. There's nothing to choose between them all, but it is Mike Edwards. He takes a leisurely look behind him. He gets an eyeful of Liam Morris, and Morris dips to the other side to see if he can make a pass. He's got the legs on Spike Edwards as they hit the brakes in towards it. Robbie Brown into second position. What a move by Robbie Brown to take second position from Leon Morris, and Gilbertson is there keeping a watching brief in that third position. Bend it right through Chris Curve. Oh, this has got to go on the wire, James.
I'll tell you what, Gilbertson's not keeping a watching brief. He's actually trying to pick up the pieces should anything happen or have happened.
You mean when something happens?
Well, yeah, I just think he was trying to get past Morris, because Morris had been just a little bit fourth line by the move by Brown.
Well, Morris has been relegated, and Robbie Brown is into the lead. What a move from Robbie Brown into the lead to take. Well, he caught Mike Edwards with his trousers firmly around his ankles on that one, and Edwards has been taken up an alley and mugged by Robbie Brown, and Brown is now the fastest man on circuit. Interested to see what lap time it is this time around. Edwards still in that second position. He will not want second position again, James.
No, and this is what amazes me about Mike Edwards. He's been racing that long, obviously loves it, does it for the sport and all that, but he still wants to win. He still gets very upset. We saw him at one of the earliest of these rounds this year at Thruxton. Here we go. This is the overtake. Brown goes up the inside. He's just at the bottom of shot there.
Well, it was a brave move, and the fastest lap of the race goes to Robbie Brown with a 33.881, and this is the 2 laps to go section. It could be the break for victory. It was obvious that Mike Edwards was perhaps just holding him up a little bit.
Yeah, I would just say Mike Edwards at Thruxton. He was leading the race with a lap to go, and then ended up about 4th or 5th on the last lap into the chicane, and he got really upset. I saw him when he came back into the pits. Not an happy man.
Well, Spike Edwards, he's got all the experience in the world. Robbie Brown perhaps not as experienced. He is a former Virgin Mobile Cup race winner. He's got a lot of experience, but not one iota on what Spike Edwards has. Morris is not out of this one. I think your man Gilbertson may be struggling on this one. Darren Fry's battle, or his challenge, appears to have come to an end, but it's all about it. One time to go, one lap to go next time around. He's getting a little bit squirrely on the back end. Spike Edwards just squares the corner off, runs a little bit wide. Can he have a look on the inside in towards the link chicane? No, he can't. It's It's still Brown from Edwards, from Morris, from Gilbertson, as quick as that. On the short shoot, in towards the left-hander of the mountain bottom.
The best chance now for Mike Edwards to take this win is, he's long awaited, when like you say, he's not won one yet this year, he's been very close, is at the end of Park Street. He needs to start thinking about that and setting it up now.
Well, he's going to come down to 2.180 miles of the Cadwell Park circuit here in leafy Lincolnshire to sort this one out for round 12 of the Rapid Solicitors Ducati848 Challenge. 121 on your screen, Mike Edwards, and he's not close enough this time around.
Definitely not.
Robbie Brown looks as though this could be the break for victory if it's another good lap for the number 34 machine. Indeed it is. It's only trading hundredths of a second this time around, but Morris is there in that third position, and Spike Edwards now knows he's going to have to do something and do it quick.
In fact, Leon Morris's last lap was the fastest of the race, and that's quite unusual this far into a race.
Well, the tyres will be well spent. Kenny Gilbertson perhaps isn't out of this one with perhaps done an injustice there.
I think Kenny is. I don't think Leon Morris is.
Well, here comes Morris now. He's building. He has a look on the inside of Spike Edwards. Can't do it that time around. Robbie Brown just needs to keep it clean here. Options, and now starting to run a little bit short for the two pursuers of the Cheshire Rider in that lead position. Number 34, Spike Edwards, bends it right through the gooseneck, through the right, across the adverse camber, drops left, and Gilbertson on the back of Liam Morris as well. This is one of the overtaking opportunities. Gilbertson has a look. Not this time around. Two opportunities now left, James.
I'll tell you what, opportunities are running out. There's not that much now.
Sideways into the corner is Robbie Brown. He's trying for England on this one. In towards the mountain bottom. Spike Edwards will see that 34.848 is tying itself in knots.
Just the hairpin now. That's the only chance.
It's a mistake. Edwards made a mistake there as he went into the mountain bottom, and that's blown it. He's not close enough.
No way.
He just ran a little bit wide. The front end just kicked out. Kenny Gilbertson has a desire on the podium. He's going to make a block pass. Not on this occasion. Well, barring a disaster into bound corner, Robbie Brown is going to take a superb victory on this one as he heads across the line. Second victory of the year for Robbie Brown. What a superb ride for Robbie Brown. Spike Edwards, yet another second position, and Leon Morris adds to his championship tally in third position. Well, Ross Connolly comes through there just ahead of Aaron Brown to round out 7th and 8th. But what a ridey time that one to perfection did Robbie Brown. But Kenny Gilbertson with the fastest lap of the race on the very last lap, it just wasn't quite enough.
No, it wasn't, and really frustrating for Kenny. Yeah, I mean, he got the win yesterday, yeah, and these bikes are pretty much all the same. There's not too much to choose between them. I do feel that if he'd have made a better start, Kenny could have done something, but yeah.
Well, you've got to feel a little bit for Mike Edwards as he congratulates Robbie Brown on the slowdown lap. Yet to win a race, 12 rounds, and he's not managed to win one of them. He's come oh so close here on 2 occasions at Cadwell. Just not quite happened for him.
Yeah, and having said that, Robbie Brown, number 34 there, I've got to say, he did come from behind. He picked people off, he did things right, didn't make many mistakes. Good ride.
Well, the only other victory that Robbie Brown has taken was at Monza. You know all about Monza. He used to ride for a team that was based very, very close to there.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But this in front of a massed house here at Cadwell Park. This will be even more special for Robbie Brown. He suffered some horrendous injuries when he crashed at Redgate Corner in the Virgin Cup. The bike, he was trapped underneath the bike, and he'd sustained a very nasty leg injury. But what was happening was that the radiator was actually leaking on him and gave him some pretty nasty burns
as well. Yeah.
So they say the pain and pleasure for all the pain that these guys through. This is what it's all about. But what about that man there? Spike, he's an inspiration.
He's an inspiration, but I tell you what, he's going to be so frustrated.
You know, 15 years time or so, he's going to be drawing his pension. Well, there you see the result for the second race here. Round 12 of the series at Cadwell Park, the Rapid Solicitors Ducati848 Challenge. Robbie Brown taking a victory by 3/4 of a second in the end over Mike Edwards. Liam Morris in third position ahead of Kenny Gilbertson, Darren Fry, Jamie Poole, Mark Cheetham, Ross Connolly, Aaron Brown and Steve Jordan are the top 10. Holden Poyser Keane, Padovani, Clinton Dude, Tanowski, Barry Paul, Andrew and Cobb didn't see the finish of the race. Well, the start of the race saw Liam Morris get the whole shot. We thought that would be it as far as he was concerned. Darren Fry got a great start around the outside, but down in towards Park Corner for the first time. It was 3 abreast, but Spike Edwards just let the brakes run. Thought he'd managed to nick past Liam Morris, but not the case. Morris decided to just hold down on that one. Next time around, Edwards did make it stick as he went through into the lead, down towards Mansfield Corner. And Kenny Gilbertson put a little bit of a move on the eventual race winner. Robbie Brown couldn't make it stick that time around. But again, in the brakes, in towards Park Corner. Brown moved up into second position. Only then had Mike Edwards in front of him. Put a pass on him in towards Mansfield Corner. Edwards ran a little bit wide, and that was the only door opening that he needed to get through. In towards the final corner, it was Mike Edwards holding off Leon Morris for that second position. Kenny Gilbertson, all too little, all too late, the fastest lap of the race. He couldn't quite squeeze onto the podium. But win number 2 of the season it was for Robbie Brown, absolutely delighted, ahead of Spike Edwards and Leon Morris.
And we are here at the end of pit lane with Leon Morris, our third place finisher. Great race, that bit of everything going on. You came under some pressure there from Kenny Gilbertson.
Yeah, all the way through the race it was +0 on the pit board. I obviously didn't know who was behind me. We're going for a championship, so we've got to finish every race. We want to win when we can, of course we do. I'd love to have won it, but we've also got to keep it on the black stuff. And we've been on the podium every race bar one this year, and I think that's the way to win championships. So I'm pretty happy with that.
It looked thrilling from the sidelines. Was it thrilling to be a part of?
It was, yeah. I could have done with... I just wanted it to end, really. I wanted it to end when I was at the front, but I knew I was under pressure. They've been quick all weekend and brilliant race. Thanks to all the personal sponsors, JHP Build Base. Fantastic.
You didn't really want it to end, but we know what you meant. Leon, off you go to the podium. Very well done. Now, second place finisher, Mike Edwards. I feel so sorry for you. You held on for so long. It was great to see your style leading this, and then they just pipped you with one lap to go.
Yeah, I was determined, and I'm sick of being the bridesmaid, so I thought I've got to pull a win off here because I like Cadwell, etc. And Leon got past us, and I thought, I'm not having that. So I got past him again, and then I thought, right, just go defensive. I looked back a couple of times and saw there was like a face full of eyes, and thought, just keep it together. And then going into Mansfield, it jumped into neutral, which usually ends in tears, but I managed to salvage that. That's when Robbie got through, and then it was damage limitation. It happened again at the bottom of the mountain, and I thought, just get this home.
Thank you for censoring yourself there, Spike. Well done. But yeah, once again, the frustration must be building. But it's no taking away from the way you're riding. You're riding, I would say, as well as we've ever seen you ride.
Well, it's not over yet. There's still 100 points for grabs. Anything can happen. It's all about racking points up until the fat lady sings at the end of the championship. And I want a bike for next year. I'm not happy with the push bike for second. I want one with an engine in, These legs are getting old.
Brilliant, love it. We'll let you go to the podium. Very well done there, our second place finisher, Mike Edwards. And now our race winner, Robbie Brown. Well, Spike says he ran into a neutral at the bottom of Mansfield. You saw your opportunity, you took it, and from that point on, you didn't look back.
Yeah, well, that was it. I mean, it's a tough place to pass anyway. It's a tough track, but... yeah, we've had so much trouble this weekend. We've been struggling with the setup, and we've had, the team, the old Ducati Manchester team, have had the bike in bits. And we've got to thank Andy at Olins. At Kay's Olins, he's basically turned the bike around for today. He made, it was possible to win. But again, you've got to thank all your sponsors. I mean, thanks to 4Net Technologies, Ducati Manchester, RI, everybody that's looking after me. It's just great to be here, and do it in front of all this crowd. It's fantastic.
50,000 people or so watched that performance. Do you rate that as one of the best you've done?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was struggling. I was like in fourth and third for most of the race, and it was looking tough, mainly because we couldn't pass. It's really difficult. All the bikes are the same, so you've got to outbrake. You've got to take a risk, and fortunately for me at least, my bike he slipped up a bit. But I'd have definitely gone for the pass anyway. Whether or not it would have ended in tears, I don't know, but it's one of them, we've got to make the crowd give a good spectacle, it's all good.
And didn't you just give them a great spectacle? Well, there you go to the podium, Robbie Brown, very well done, our 848 Ducati Challenge. When Robbie Brown, he heads up to the podium, Larry will take us through it.
Well, what a cracking race, and once again for the Ducati848 Rapid Solicitors Challenge. As Spike Edwards said, 4 more races to go to Castle Combe next weekend, and then we got Silverstone a couple of weeks after that. Leon Morris then, championship leader, as he rightly said, just been off for the podium. 11 podiums in 12 races. Well, that is the mark of a champion, and Spike Edwards, he'll have to settle for yet another, his 8th podium of the season here, and taking a second victory. That is Rapid Robbie Brown on the back of that victory earlier on in the season in damp conditions at Monza. But what a great effort. Leon Morris just deciding that points are better in the pursuit of prizes this time around, and he takes that third place position on this time. Mike Edwards, you got a feel for him a little bit, Spike Edwards, and as he said, we noticed that the bike did appear to have a problem a couple of times. That was the reason it jumped out of gear. But Robbie Brown, the camaraderie of the Rapid Solicitors Ducati848 Challenge is evident there as the top 3 riders are on the podium. Well, they're going to get busy with the fizzy, and one would imagine the girls do the sensible thing. Robbie Brown just a little bit slow off the champagne. Spike Edwards, there you go, the experience of Spike Edwards. He lets everybody else spray the champagne, and then he opens his up last, so he's got more to drink. But, number 1 bloke, it is Mike Edwards. Is there in that second position this time around. But a great race, and congratulations to Robbie Brown, a second win of the season.
Well, there we go. What a cracking race that was from the Ducati848 boys. Typical of the action we expect here at Cadwell Park. We still have plenty more to bring you this afternoon, all live, of course. It kicks off next with the Metzler National Superstock 600s, 3 o'clock. We are live with a booming Harley-Davidson XR 1200 trophy race. 3:45 for the Fuchs Silkling British Supersport Championship outing. That is race 2 of this weekend, of course. 25 to 5 for the 3rd MCE Insurance British Superbikes race of the Cadwell Racing Weekend. And wrap things up at 5:20 with the Sunoco British 125 GP Championship race. We'll see you with all that when we return in a couple of minutes' time.